I got it. Call this meeting order. All stand and face the flag for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. Welcome you all to the Commissioners' meeting on a cold morning. Britton Luther.
Present.
R.T. Donovan.
Here.
Tim Yocum, I am present. Approval of minutes.
Motion to approve minutes.
Second the motion.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Approval of claims.
Motion to approve claims with the one exception of the AES being removed from the docket for the capital improvements. Wasn't authorized by John Graves.
Okay, that's fine. I'll second the motion. That was going to be my question, was what it was pertaining to.
All in favor?
Aye.
Approval of payroll.
I'll make a motion to approve payroll.
Second motion to approve payroll.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Economic update plan.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
So, as of now, I'm officially 8 weeks into the position in the office. 5 weeks 100% on my own since Doug has went on to the state. And over those, mostly these last 5 weeks of on my own, out meeting people in the community, conversing with small business owners and such, it's became pretty clear there's a lot of misconceptions about the economic development, what it really is, and what we really do in the office. So one of the first initiatives that I have been working on is I've started making those contacts and in the process of getting on each town board and organizations agendas to attend their meetings, introducing myself, providing them a little bit of an education piece for them to kind of help understand exactly what we do and how we can help them. Because kind of where that stemmed from is introducing myself, a lot of the first things that people want to say is, well, what are you going to do for the RISE? And of course the RISE is a big part of the county. It is the largest industrial parks that we have here to develop. But of course, like I said, there's a lot more than just that. So Commissioners, this morning I wanted to give you a copy of this just for your review so that you understand what I was doing for each one of those meetings at the town boards, just so you can kind of have an idea of the information of presenting to them, just the basic definition of what economic development is based on the U.S. Department of Association. How we're funded, which is by the EDIT tax, economic income tax. And then I started breaking it down as to exactly what the office does. Not only do we explore and acquire new business, like I said, with the RISE, but we also do that for all areas within the county. So there's properties from north to south and east to west that could be available for development. And then also making sure that we assist existing businesses who have the desire to expand their footprint, their workforce, or maybe their products and services. Each year we pay into the program with the Scott School of Business to help people build business plans and move forward with Work One of training their workforce and such. And then also, through grants and, Purdue Manufacturing, things that they have to offer. Facilitating communications between organizations, individuals, and resources to help them grow. Support outreach programs and community service. Obviously, part of economic development is getting people to come here. We want them to live here. We want to grow what we have. And supporting those items that we have, those organizations or our parks and recreation, is what makes that enticing for people to come here. And then market ourselves, not just locally here, but state, nationally, and even internationally to people that might want to come here. And then exploring financial opportunities. You know, I listed just a handful of things that plays into economic development, such as employment and training, infrastructure, housing, growing population, tourism, parks and recreation, childcare, revitalization, nonprofit organizations. So we're just hitting the tip of the iceberg of when we're wanting to bring businesses in. There's a lot of things here that I think we can grow and develop, and I think that we need to make sure that people understand that so that we can help them do that. I do have a section that kind of helps them understand how that affects the county. It's funny that even some of my own friends, my personal friends, they're like, well, you know, how can tourism actually make a big difference in the economy? Well, you're bringing people in. You know, you're getting them to come here, spend their money here, and give an influx of, you know, purchases here, their tax revenue, and things of that sort, of helping support us here in Vermilion County. So I guess gave the basics there. And then I have a snapshot. Obviously, I'm not going to go through all of it, but just a snapshot of what a week looks like in the Economic Development Office. It was even an eye-opening experience for myself when I started typing all of this up, because there is a lot to it. But the main thing is the thing I put at the very bottom is it's most importantly that I work for you to develop and grow this economy here, whether it be business or that whole list of items that I had given you. So there's that part of it, just kind of like in the background of what I have been working on. And then some topics to make sure to point on. I just want to bring up the Ready 2.0. You know, we're getting closer to where those applications are going to be due. As of right now, I know there's the child care, the ambulance, and I do know that Lyft is kind of toying around with the possibility of submitting an application, but I definitely want to encourage anyone, individuals, private entities, organizations that are going to be applying to making sure that they either let myself or Bill Reynolds know. RDA meets on a regular basis, and we want to make sure that we know everything that could be coming down that pipeline that we can help support at the regional level as well for when they start approving those applications of that money being divvied up locally.
That deadline's February the 1st.
I'm sorry?
That deadline's February the 1st.
Right. So it's definitely fast approaching, so we want to make sure that we're in the loop as to anybody else that is applying for those. So last week, I had a couple of meetings, actually in the last 2 weeks. So with Purdue Manufacturing was one of them. I think there's a lot of opportunities there I just want to bring to the table. They do focus on manufacturing, but a lot of items that they have available, it's very economic, and then they also have some grants available for training, you know, just support in general. I know like the one that they were seeking out most recently was meat packing. Of course, that one has since expired, but that just kind of gives you a little bit of an idea of some of those resources that are out there that we need to connect people within our county on. Last week, there was a regional meeting in Terre Haute that I attended. The three of you knew that I was going to that meeting with Accelerate, and they focused on a program called Make My Move. I'm not going to dive too much into it because they are working on getting us all of the details, but just kind of the quick overview is that's getting people to move here to Vermilion County to boost the population here, and of course, like I had touched on, you know, how that trickles down into affecting the economy and how we grow. So they do target on remote and hybrid workers, but it's also promoted to everyone. And what they do is they put in incentive packages for people to come and live here, move here, and the return on investment with that of what they bring back into the county is pretty astronomical. So those statistics were pretty interesting that I would love to be able to share at some point once they provide that entire package to us. Just know that that's coming down the pipe. As far as a couple other updates, one, I do want you guys to know that the commission is signing that contract for the St. Bernice Water this afternoon. There was a little bit of a medical emergency there that was not able to get finalized, so that will be done this afternoon. And then Lyft in Clinton has been selected as an ambassador for the solar eclipse on April 8th. I know our EMA director has talked about how big of an event this is and making some plans ahead of time for all of that. But last night at the school board meeting, SV has moved that day to an e-learning day, just because of the amount of influx of visitors to the whole general area. And so Lyft is looking at having a viewing event at the South Vermillion High School, that they are kind of having a festival that weekend leading up to the actual viewing day. That committee meets on Wednesday to kind of finalize a lot of their plans, but again, that's something else that's coming down the pipe that we need to be aware of.
You say your Lyft?
Yes, Lyft is the one. So
Have they contacted you about that?
yes,
Have they contacted the Sheriff's Department about it?
that I'm not sure. I
I've
think
talked
they
with them.
might have contacted someone.
But they need to, I'm saying, you know.
If they
have-
haven't already.
Britton and I have spoke, and John Spur and I have spoke.
Okay.
Plans in the works for the eclipse.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
not Lyft.
No, I've not spoken with Lyft, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't either.
They need to notify the Sheriff's Department.
So, but
Who
they.
assigned them as an ambassador for?
So
county?
the Terre Haute Children's Museum went
Yeah.
through Simmons in New York City. Excuse me, and they have put together a big program for the solar eclipse. So there was grant money involved. There was, and I'm just speaking off the cuff because obviously they're the ones putting this all together. There was a very high dollar telescope that was donated. They have viewing tents. Oh my gosh, they have, what else was there? There was viewing glasses. There's a laundry list of items that I know that this was put together as a package for them to do, and they are the only one in Vermilion County that was selected as an ambassador for the event.
The question was
I
who
had no
picked
idea
them?
what was going on.
I believe it had to do, I'm not sure if it was the Children's Museum or if it had to do with their joint effort with the Simmons organization. Those details I don't know. I just know that they were selected and that the event is happening.
They need to get with Mark O'Hare. Are you in communication with them about this?
Yes.
They need to get with Mark O'Hare and file that large event so that things can be organized accordingly, and that'll notify the sheriff, ambulance, et cetera, so.
Okay. Well, and like I said, I know they're meeting Wednesday. They weren't going too quickly into things because they wanted to make sure that they had a location that was feasible. So I know that is in the works with the school corporation for them to be able to use the high school and the middle school for the viewing. And they were going to be working on plans a little bit later this week. So
Sure.
I will make sure that that's on their list to be able to address that with Mike or Mark or whomever to
Sure.
have that collaborative
Yeah.
effort. Okay, and then the last thing I have on my list I've started diving into is the USDA loans that we had for small businesses. I know there's been a few people that had asked about those. I'm just getting into them, just kind of an overview. I do think it's a great way to support local business and aspiring entrepreneurs to kind of give them a boost with that funds in that account to do so. I do, the value is there. I do think that we need to dive a little bit deeper kind of into the process, how the approvals worked, the terms, the availability of the funds and things of that sort. So as of right now, there's only 10 loans that are out that are actually like outstanding. There are 3 of them that I would consider past due just because they haven't made a payment like this year. But overall,
When
it
you
seems
say
to
this
be-
year, is that all of them within 30 days or 60 days?
Correct. But there is only 10 loans outstanding, which amounts to, but I just kind of got an estimate. It's about $60,000 to $65,000 is what's outstanding in those loans.
Could you give us a report for the last 2 years on the status of those loans that went on and the ones that are paid and were not paid?
Sure.
and
So you want me to go back 2 years?
Yes, please. Send it to all 3 commissioners.
Yep. You want me to just send that as an email to you guys? Do you want me
Be
to?
fine with me.
An email? All right, that's all I have. Do you guys have any more questions for me?
You might mention what Scott School of Business is.
Yeah, so they have a program down there. Again, don't know all of the details, but they will sit down with aspiring entrepreneurs or current business owners to kind of help develop business plans, and kind of help give them directions to be able to developing that business and the steps that they need to take to be able to get there.
And their affiliation is
With Indiana State University.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Purdue, the Purdue that you mentioned, is that Purdue Innovation that you're talking about?
It was, it's Purdue Manufacturing Extension Program.
Is that part of the innovation at Purdue School? Or?
They are their own, they're part of Purdue, yes, but they're their own separate little entity within.
Okay.
But they do a lot of things. I mean, you can get OSHA cards, you can do food and safety. There's a lot of things that they have within that manufacturing umbrella that they can help with.
One of the things that they're interested in is sourcing products, i.e. like meat packing. People who have livestock or whatever, is actually being able to process that within a certain radius of those facilities, as opposed to sending it off to Idaho, Utah, New York, wherever to be processed. So it's part of a statewide initiative to be able to process those here and then distribute them from the state of Indiana. So that's something that the state is in large support of. You said e-learning, is it just South Vermillion? Is North Vermillion going to e-learning also?
I believe the other
the
schools were
Eclipse
already
is.
on e-learning at that point, and then they have now moved, as of the school board meeting last night, they moved South Vermillion to e-learning as well.
So North is also. Okay, thank you.
Yep. All right, well, thank you, commissioners.
Thank you.
Okay. Public comment. Do we have anybody here from the public? New issues, 2024 extension contract service agreement with Purdue, Woody Broslow. Lori?
Good morning.
Good morning, Lori.
Morning.
You should already have a copy of this one, Brenda. Do you have a copy of the contract?
Yes.
Okay. And it is a matter of simply needing a signature.
Do I know?
It simply needs a signature.
Okay.
The information was prepared by the university, and it is a contract between Vermillion County and Purdue University for the contractual services for 3 Purdue Extension educators here in Vermillion County.
Okay.
And the dollar amount that is in there, I did review that to make sure that it is correct. Everything seems to be in order. It needs a county government official signature completion on the 2nd page, and also then on the last page, the appendix.
Do you want to do this by agreement or by motion?
I'm in agreement with it.
I'm in agreement, so you can just sign it also. One question for you, Lori. Do you have a breakdown or a synopsis for each dollar that we put into this program, into your program, the 4-H and so forth, what the return is on those dollars? To the county, that is.
Would you like information about how many volunteer hours? What do you want? I need more information, please.
Well, that's what I'm asking for, is the information.
Okay.
We're spending X amount of dollars.
Right.
For most organizations, or for some organizations anyway, they measure that the return on those dollars back to the county. If we're going to spend this on Purdue, basically, what is the anticipated, not volunteer hours, but what is the return to the county, whether it, in what form do we receive? So we spend $1, do we get $2 back in this program?
So specifically for the contractual services, for the 3, for Vermillion County to have 3 full-time extension educators, the university agrees that they will provide professional development training for us. That may mean that they offer us the time to travel to a conference, okay? At that point, they're not going to pay for the conference, okay?
I'm not
But
asking
they're-
for it right now.
Okay.
But if you could put it together as to what is the return on this?
Sure. Okay.
What is the county experience for spending $1 for every dollar we spend on this program? What is the return that we get in education, in new business, in?
So, just so you understand, the funding for cooperative extension is like a three-legged stool, okay? There's the county contribution, the state legislature contributes, and then extension is funded federally. So it's a cooperative effort between county, state, and federal to provide financial support for Purdue Extension, but I will provide you that information.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it.
Mm-hmm. Any other questions for me? Did you sign that?
Yeah, we'll sign it.
Okay. And then I'll need can you send me the original?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Yeah.
Okay.
Or just tell me and I'll come pick it up.
Okay.
Okay? Thank you.
Appreciate all you guys do.
Thank you.
Putting in the community. Next item is riding lawnmower for jail, Mike Holcamp.
We're not asking for any additional money, we're just wanting the okay to spend a little over 12,000, almost 13,000 out of our jail maintenance budget to purchase a new mower for the jail to maintain the grounds.
Don't we usually share that with the?
We have been sharing it with the county highway, and Jim can explain the issues with the mower better than I can. He's the one who uses
My
it.
question is, who owns that mower now at the county highway?
From what I understood, the cost was split years ago under Mike Phelps. I honestly don't know.
I think
So-
I've got a short answer to this before we go through all this. If you'll work with Mike Kleck on this, I called him about the lawnmower after you brought it, or somebody brought it up anyway. It needs repair, but Mike indicates that it's still can be repaired. It needs repair, and he's going through those motions to make those repairs, and it'll be in reasonable or good working order once they get done with M&M. So until we get to that point, there still needs, I think, to be a sharing agreement between the sheriff and the highway department there at Garage 2. And if for some reason, after they repair this mower, if it's still not adequate, if you can get back with us on this, we'll address it.
We were willing to let them just have that mower, and then, because they have a lot less area to take care of than we do. If that's something that we could do, they could have that mower, then we would purchase a new one out of our budget.
And you have the money in your budget to purchase it anyway.
Yeah.
Right, Mike?
Yeah, no, I'm not asking for any additional money.
Yeah.
The thing about that is there was some conflict between sharing stuff before, and so I think that, if the old mower can go over to the county highway and you guys get you a new one, I have no problem with that.
We don't need an additional mower though. There's not that much ground to be done between the two. They're at the same facility, basically at the same location. It's $12,000 we don't need to spend.
Well, it's the sheriff's, but I mean, it's not the county, it's the sheriff wanting to spend that money. It's not, us spending the $12,000, right?
Right, it's within already
county-
in our budget.
It's
yeah.
still county money though.
But it's under the discretion of the sheriff, though, so. I
Jim
mean,
can explain what the issues were with the mower.
The mower's starting to use oil, and it broke a drive belt towards the end of the season, and M&M come picked it up, and there was 3 of the 4 motor bolts broke off. One of them still broke off. They got the other 3 out and replaced them, put a new belt on. I was just trying to, and it's got a lot of hours on it, they mow a lot less than we do. I'm on it between 5 and 6 hours a week, mowing the yard, the backyard, the pasture and all that. I was just trying to get along, let them have that one, because they just mow the little strip in front and then the side, where they would keep that one and it would last longer, and then we'd get a new one to take care of our big yard. So that's what we were
I
trying to do.
still believe that if we need a new mower, then Mike should have told me that. He thinks that this one is still in reasonable shape, and it should still be a shared mower. There's not that much ground there in addition that it can't be. Anyway, I think if we get a new one, then it should be still shared between highway and the jail. But I don't believe until Mike comes back and tells me that's not a reasonable mower for our service, jail and for highway, then I think we should waylay that decision. It's not like we're gonna be mowing grass right now anyway. But
Well, Jim, you use that mower. I mean, was it the sheriff's department's opinion that this mower is needed, a new mower is needed?
I think that lawnmower, we were down 2 weeks because of the repairs they were trying to get repaired, and the grass really growed up. There's no way to maintain the yard when that one's down, so.
Yeah.
The Sharon's not a problem, it's just the point of that lawnmower's getting a lot of hours, and it's starting to go.
And you've used it quite a bit.
Oh, yeah, I
then,
use it every week.
How old is that?
I don't know.
I don't know when it was purchased.
No.
I don't know.
I have no objection to approving this transfer for the 12,595. That's just my opinion. I don't know if there's a majority opinion to that effect.
Will still be shared with the,
Well, I'd like to be able to keep it at the jail so we can just mow the jail with it, and they can use the other one for what they do, so.
to be truthful, there's been some issues there in Sheridan in the past where some people took it and didn't clean it up and brought it back,
Oh,
and I
yeah.
heard the complaints
Yeah.
and that, and I would rather be a line
I
drawn
went to use
between the
it
two.
and the blades were bent, and I had to replace the blades and the bolts holding the blades on. It was in bad shape on that part, but.
I'd rather see it come out of two separate budgets. You're responsible for your grass and
agree.
we're responsible
I
for
agree.
ours, to be truthful. That's where I'm at. I know, might not wanna spend the money, but I think that line, there's been a problem with that line, a little bit of problem with that line, you know, it's like you guys took it and certain things happened and they got it back and they complained, and I think you guys will be responsible for your grass and we'll be responsible for our grass, and, you know what I'm saying?
Yes,
Just
sir.
draw a line there, and then, I have no problem with that. So the old one will go,
Just leave it there at the county garage and they use it for what they need, and then I mow the rest.
okay. I know it's not contrary to what Britton wants, but there's been an issue there in the past with that. I'd rather see just the line draw, you know, you take care of your grass and we take our care of our grass, and I think that's a better way to do it.
Kylie, need a motion on this transfer of funds then?
No, this is just basically for the asset.
Okay,
because
sure.
it's gonna be an asset, so you
Okay.
guys just have to approve it as an asset.
Okay.
That's where I'm at. Take a vote for them to get their mower?
Yeah, that's fine, yeah. You want a motion or no?
I don't know, required motion or not?
needs at least an agreement, and I'm not in agreement, but if the two of you are, then I'll pass.
Yeah, I'm in agreement for the sheriff's department to,
I'm not in agreement, so.
to spend $12,595 on a mower from
Right,
M&M mower,
and
right?
also that mower will, the existing mower will be left at the county garage, our county garage.
The new mower?
No, the old one.
The old one will stay in the county garage and the new one will stay in my area.
And I think it ought to be that you guys take care of your grass and we take care of ours. I mean, it needs to be a dividing line of responsibility there that's
Yep.
not been there for a long
And
time.
that is getting purchased from M&M mowers?
Yeah,
That's
So
a-
purchase it locally or?
yeah.
Yeah,
Good,
yeah.
good. Keep our money local, that's important.
Yep.
What are you getting?
It's a Skag, it's basically the same thing.
It's a zero turn, I take
Zero
it?
turn, just like the one, it's a little bigger motor because they don't make that motor anymore, it's on that one.
What motor is on that? Is it a Kohler or a Kawasaki?
It's a Kohler 39 horse, I think.
38.
I'll tell you what, the
38
Kohler,
horse.
something about the Kohlers, a certain amount, they will, at a certain time, they'll start leaking to the head and they'll leak the oil out and the motor will burn up on those things.
Well, they had the option of either the Briggs for 37 horse Briggs or a 38 horse Kohler, so, and it's the same mower, they had both in stock.
Which one you get?
I had Kohler wrote down.
Might ask them about the head leakings on some of those.
Okay.
I didn't know if they can Kawasaki's on those too,
It's a smaller engine, they had way smaller engines, so they didn't have a Kawasaki that had the bigger engine on it, so.
or, hey, while you're up here, we hired you, right?
Yes, sir.
And so does he technically operate under us as commissioners, or does he technically?
He's a commissioner employee, but it's financed through the sheriff. He's also to help with the courthouse if there's ever a need, and plus the courthouse will go
Okay,
down to
so,
help
but he
him.
still answers to the sheriff and answers all of us then?
He's a
technically.
county employee.
Okay. One thing I would ask is for a report from you. I'm hearing stuff about the jail and issues there, and I would like, if there's issues there, I'd like to know.
Okay.
I've been forwarding those things
Huh?
to you. I've
I was
been
gonna say,
forwarding
Well,
get
those
in
to you
contact with
guys.
Britt and
Yeah.
catch
But
up
I'm
with
saying
you.
internally, someone's been voicing their opinion about things at the jail, and I've asked for a meeting with you and the person. And if there's issues there, we need to know about it. I mean, talk is cheap out on the street, and something's going on, I'd like to know, you know, and so we can address them, and if they're false,
I know.
you know, we need to deal with them. So I think the jail's been a wonderful project. It's cost a lot of money. It needed to be done. And Britt did a wonderful job on it, saving us humongous amount of money on it. But I mean, if there's things internally going on and people are speaking out, I want to address them, you know. If they're false, they're false. If they're real, let's deal with them.
Britton has the information. We've been keeping him up to date on all the issues.
Okay. Because, like I said, I support you guys 100%, and I think the jail it had to be done. I mean, it's something that was important to be done, and if you guys have any issues, get over to Britt, but if there is anything there internally, let us know. Go ahead, Britt, you're getting ready to say something, I can tell.
Just been forwarding that information as it's been relevant anyway
Okay.
to both of you, so.
Okay, that's where we're at on the mower, I think.
If you're hearing other things, most likely it's hearsay or people like to talk, so.
Okay.
um,
Okay, there we're at on the mower, if you're all happy with that.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have utility bills, jail. You want us to talk about that? You want to, whole camper, you want to keep that, have another discussion with that? I didn't know it was on the agenda.
I didn't either.
Okay. I would recommend us get together.
Rick Weir and I talked in December that he would like to come, was wanting to come in and sit down.
Yeah, we need to sit, talk. This is internal.
Ask somebody from Duke to come in and sit down with us.
Okay.
I had asked him, and I think Rick was working toward this, is to do an energy audit for the jail.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the status is of today. That's a couple weeks ago, maybe.
Can you schedule that meeting with us? We can get together, talk about this. And
Yeah, whatever you guys want, yeah.
HSI Solar, Douglas Lamont. Is he here today?
Good morning, County Commissioners.
Good day.
Morning.
My name is Douglas Lamont.
Can everybody hear him okay?
My name is Douglas Lamont. I represent HSI Solar out of Indianapolis. I came here to go over a couple exterior lighting solutions. I'm going to hand these out to you. In here I have a letterhead, a couple of our vendors' lighting options,
Thank you.
as well as a pamphlet discussing.
You're saying it's with lighting, and then you're saying you're with solar, so I'm trying to figure
The
out.
name is confusing, but I'm here just for lighting solutions.
Okay.
So, I don't want to bore you with information. I want to be generally quick. We have several financing options, and the way this is driven is through state and federal incentives, specifically through the IRA, the Inflation Reduction Act. We can get up to 40% of the lighting solutions paid for if it's attributed under solar. This is a great solution for dark areas, security measures, as we can include motion sensors in these lighting solutions. It also is less expensive than connecting it directly to the grid. Going over the financing options, you'll see behind the letterhead is the elective pay overview. This is if you do not want to pay for it yourself, keep it on balance sheet, partially on balance sheet, or off balance sheet. But this is strictly for third-party financing. That would mean the ownership of the solar system is under someone else's scrutiny, and you guys reap the benefits through the electrical cost savings. Going through our vendors really quick, Evergen Solar Systems would be the most basic option. Then you have the Solar Decorative series, essentially the same thing, but the lighting just looks fancier. The UP1 Ultra Performance Solar Street Light would be the second best option. All of these have a 12-year lifespan, and maintenance is included in the service. The ISSL Plus would be the best solution, as it has the most capabilities. It you have freedom of where to put it. It's not as rigid as grid solutions, as running that wire has to be connected to the grid. You don't have as much freedom putting these lights where you want them. And then.
So these other ones are totally standalone?
Yeah, totally standalone.
No wire to them at all?
No.
They work off satellite?
Yeah, they work off the solar panel, just connected to the light directly. So, like I said, this is great for security measures, intersections, parks, anything. I do want to mention that the First Light technology solution that I sent you guys, or is on the back of this binder, I would not recommend, especially because of this weather. It just doesn't operate in the cold, and we just ran some tests last week to figure out if that lighting solution is good, and it just doesn't hold up like the other lighting solutions by Sol. And then lastly, if you guys already have lights that you just want to save energy on, at the very back of this is the retrofit kit, and what that does is just a general cost savings solution.
You say life expectancy about 12 years?
Yeah, but maintenance and repairs is included through our vendor.
What of disposal cost?
Disposal costs? I could get back to you on that.
Where do you got these at? Around Indiana? What's some of the projects you've done in Indiana with this, or?
This is kind of a new solution for us. I could send you several of their projects listed on their website, but this is something I should mention. I'm new to this industry. I've only been in this industry for a little less than a year. I have a great crowd of people that I work with who are teaching me a lot of things, putting me in the right direction, and I truly stand by what we're offering. So, if you guys have any other questions, I can get those either through your commissioner's assistant or directly. I apologize for the nerves.
I'd like to look into it more to see how much they cost, and is there a price list on here?
Yeah, I could get you pricing sent over. But like I said, those are all at different price points, so it would be at your discretion.
But they will actually hold up all night?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Even when there's not much sun during the day? I mean, how does that work?
Yeah, the solar panels work all day and all night. It stores energy. Thing that's great with these lights is they don't have to stay on all day, so you get the cost savings there as well.
I'd like to see a price list on it.
Right.
Just to know.
For remote locations, I think this might be a nice addition.
That's all for me, commissioners. I appreciate you hearing me out, and I'll send you the information that you asked for.
Send it to the auditor and she can send it out.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks. Hamilton Center Annual Report. I don't think they are here today. Okay, very interesting topic right now we're working on is ambulance facility location. And Britt's got an update about North Vermillion.
Approached North Vermillion about the potential of placing one of the ambulance facilities on the northern part of the county.
Can everybody hear him?
Yes.
At the location, or northern location anyway. North Vermillion met with their board, met with the principal and the superintendent there last week, and the board voted in general, I guess, or in principle, to agree to allow the county to use the property to transfer up to an acre or so, plus or minus property there at the corporation, to the county for use of an ambulance facility. They're in favor of that. So effectively, if we decide that that is a good location for a ambulance facility, then they're agreeable to it. We'd still need to sign papers and so forth, but they'll effectively what'll happen is they'll transfer the property to the county with the caveat that, I think that the caveat will be that if the county ever is not using the property for an ambulance and or county facility anyway, that it'll revert back to the school corporation, I think is be probably the condition to it anyway. So we just need to, at some point, make a decision whether we want to pursue the North Vermillion site, school corporation site or not, or whether there's another site that we would prefer to move to or use.
We probably ought to just make a decision today, bring a vote and affirm that, if you want.
The location that they indicated, there's about 0.8 acres there. I sent that off to the architect to see if the building configuration would work on that type of parcel. It's not a square or rectangle, it's a trapezoidal section of some sort.
So what is the property next to it?
The gravel pit there.
It'd be on the northwest corner, so yeah, you're gonna be landlocked, because you got that gravel pit, and then County Road 600 North is the county road right there, so.
Both on the west and on the north side will be the pit.
The good thing about having it there, they can get underneath the railroad too, can't they?
Yep.
It gives them access under the railroad, so railroad won't ever hold them up getting on the other side going back into Cayuga and stuff.
Assuming that there's clearance there.
It's
an arch, isn't it?
Yeah, there is. They utilize it when the railroad blocks them in Cayuga. They go out that way.
You gotta watch out taking equipment through there, because it's pretty low.
And then on the, I guess it'd be the east side, they have a septic system there that serves the school. The utilities are, one of the advantages, all the utilities are on the location. So we have water, sewer, electric, don't know about gas, but we have at least power and water and sewer.
Give you all an update on the biggest part of it. The council has approved $600,000 for new ambulance facilities. We currently had ambulance facility design, and it was designed too big. I went back and talked to Kerr. They're redesigning it. Neil Costello has met with them for a new design that's possibly coming through. The other thing is we have another ambulance facility that will be going in. It's sounding like we're getting close to get the negotiations done to have another one right by South Vermillion. And I think this is a excellent thing. Is what we're doing is providing ambulance facilities close to our schools. And if anything happens, they're there. Football games or whatever, I mean, that is important. I think it's important to the community. It's important to the schools. And so the long range, what we're doing right now, we're trying to downsize the size of these facilities from what they originally designed, where they're more cut and, more exactly what we need to bring it under the budget and what we are trying to get. The Ready Grant is, deadline is February the 1st. The engineers that we went back to said they could have the design done by then. And then we're going to proceed on with Ready Grant funding for those facilities. Hopefully we can get them. I understand that the Ready Grant funding on projects like this is 50%. So if we have $600,000 approved by the council, we can go up to $1.2 million, and hopefully we can get those within budget to make that happen. And we got some great people. The ambulance committee been great working on it. Britt's been working on it, and RJ's been doing some things, and I think it's a real great thing. If we could have ambulance facilities that the county owns, it gives us a lot of flexibility in contract work, with other ambulance facilities in case we need to do that. And in case we want to even go farther in the future, a county more control, that makes it a lot more accessible and makes a lot of sense. So it's really coming together. I think it's a great plan, and I think that having them next to the schools, I think you cannot fault that. That is a great place for it to be. So, you guys got any comment on that, or?
I would just like to move in some agreement to move forward with the North Vermillion location. It's a great location, and I just think it'll just be, it's ideal. I think I can't believe we didn't even think about it in the beginning, but it's just, yeah. I think it's a good spot.
Yeah. Well, the big thing is that the cost of the other site we had didn't have utilities there. All it had was power, and so utilities there is a big cost in the construction. And since we move it down there, it makes a lot of sense. Still right on the highway. Both these both these will be right by practically on the highway, makes it quick access.
Yep.
And the other one being up around the school, it gives them more. Right now, Clinton City can respond immediately to their city. And having the ambulance facility more north of the town, it gives it more flexibility for them to get out quicker. And usually Clinton City, talking with them, Clinton City usually has that stuff covered almost immediately. So the time of moving it toward the Fairview area and toward the school is another important thing.
So if we're in agreement, we'll go ahead, we'll have an agreement in principle with the school. It won't be consummated until after February 1st, but we'll go ahead and make motions with the school and make sure that the land that we choose.
The ready grant don't have to be exact, cut and dried. I mean, you got to come up with an overall view of what you want and present it. And
They'll be willing to sign a letter in principle, though, for the ready grant. I believe that they will be anyway.
Also with the ready grant, the big thing right now is, one of the big things that Ready is looking for is quality of life. Their funding is really heavy and really positive for child care. The Ernie Powell School is some possibilities. Redevelopment, I think, is the one who is working on that, and they're doing a good job on that. And so that has a lot of possibilities. And so I don't know when they're going to come to us for any approvals on that, because they probably have to go through us as far as acquiring that or anything like that. So, but it's very positive, very positive. So, okay. Next we have surveyor's laptop and drains. Ron Mack.
I'm not sure what you want to know, so you'll have to guide me.
What?
I requested a laptop for use in the field. I talked to Ash last week, and he says he has a meeting with you folks.
Who was that?
Ash, from AES, coming up.
I haven't talked to him.
Oh, he says he's got a meeting, so he would address that issue with you guys at that time.
What I had to ask AES to do is since they're managing our system for this 2024 anyway, is to provide us with a listing of the computers and what we have and what a turnout would be for those computers as far as dating goes and software, hardware, printers, etc.
So
they're in the process of doing that. That was with Walls, though, Sean Walls.
So, laptop and drains. What about the drains?
What drainage? We're still missing a drainage board member that has not been appointed yet. So the folks on the drainage board operate over 15,000 acres in the area. They're all heavily engaged in drainage practices on their farms and or commercially.
So, did you have this put on the agenda?
No, just coming back from 2 weeks ago when I was
Well, I
on
mean,
the
you did
agenda
have it
because I
on the
was
agenda.
sick.
You was on the agenda and you didn't show up because you're sick, I
Yeah.
understand, and so we just put it back on the
Oh,
agenda.
okay. So you want to know about the Armour Morgan drain? That's what
Your
I'm.
originally you requested me on the agenda.
No, I didn't. You requested me. But anyway,
Okay.
you wanted me to tell you about the Armour Morgan drain.
Okay,
Is that right?
That'd
Are
be
we on
fine.
the same page?
you're fine.
Okay. Where we're at now is things really haven't changed. We're trying to come up with cost per acre for the project. So if the landowners decide that they want to reestablish this drain, then they are also committing to pay for reconstruction of that drain. And that's about 1.5 million at this point. So over the course of 25 years, that breaks down to about $48 to $50 an
I thought they
acre.
said you couldn't do 25 and you had to do 20.
We can do, that changed yesterday. This is a moving project right now. So now, at first we thought we were going to go through the Indiana State Revolving Funds Program. That was the first choice by the municipal advisor, Steve Brock, and the Indiana Bond Bank. But there was some more research done. Christy Gerald helped us out yesterday and did a lot of work. So basically we have two options, Indiana Bond Bank or a local bank loan. And both of those were recommended by Brian Wise. He's my longtime friend. He's in USDA acquisitions. So we don't know exactly what the application costs are for the Indiana Bond Bank. So we're in that process of coming up with those costs. And then when we report what the final cost per acreage is to the landowners for 20 years, 25 years, 30 years, whatever it is, then they'll make that decision whether or not they want to move forward. The problem is, when the commissioners self-appointed themselves to their drainage board back in '66, they made no provisions for any of the regulated drains in the county. That does not alleviate the county from the liability for maintaining those drains. I've talked to 3 different attorneys, I've talked to 3 different county surveyors, well-experienced surveyors from around the state, and we just can't up and abandon that at this point, because then any landowner on that watershed can come back and file a complaint, and then we're in a boat where we have to fix it. So I'm trying to avoid that by working with the landowners, give them that option. If they don't want it, then we can slip out from under it and we're fine.
So why don't you just find out if they want it or not, and instead of going
Well,
through
they
all this
won't,
money
because
spending?
they won't make that commitment until we can provide them a solid per acre reconstruction cost.
But they can say, you could bring up a vote for them and say, do you guys want to be in this or not, and that's the
And
answer.
they won't, I've talked with 3 or 4 of them, the major landowners. They want to know, they don't want to close the door on this reconstruction, this drain, till they know exactly what the cost is.
And I've spoke to at least one of those landowners the other day, and I'll echo kind of what Ron is saying, that the individual wasn't against it, wasn't for it, because there's been issues for 30 years, and he wanted to hear the numbers before he wanted to support it, because if it's too high, I think he's willing to abandon it, and at least his part, he will worry about his issues. But if it's reasonable, then I think he's willing to pay the whatever that per acreage is, and I don't know what
if you're looking at some of the guys, you know, they've got at least 2 generations behind them right now. $40 to $48 an acre might be a doable thing because they're investing in their own land for the future generations. It's just like going out here and spending $18,000, $19,000 an acre for farm ground. You're not going to pay for it in this generation.
Because that system, where that's set up, 51% of the land ownership controls the other 49%.
That's right. That's the way the law's written.
So they don't have no choice.
They would have no choice.
And so you can have 3 or 4 property owners own 51% and control the other 49% that or more property owners.
Right.
So
That's
how are you
the
going
law.
to deal with that?
Well, that's the law. When we get to the point where the landowners either want to make a commitment to pay for the reconstruction, then it'll come back to the drainage board. The drainage board will vote on it based on their input, the feed that they get from the community. And if it passes, it passes, and if it don't, it don't.
But the 49% would be notified. I mean, they would be aware.
Everything's.
Well, I asked that question before, and it didn't come out right, or you didn't respond right, or you didn't like my response. I ask, and I insist, that every one of those property owners within that watershed are notified. If you don't send them you don't send them a mail thing, and it comes back and.
But that's the law.
I'm just trying to tell you what it needs to be done.
I'm just telling you what the law is.
I know what the law is.
Okay.
But I'm just trying to say, if you want to do good government in this county.
If you want to pay for me to fly out to Las Vegas and talk to people that own the property, I'll do it. I don't care.
I'm just saying, I asked you to do this, and it came back that you said, the law says this. Well, why don't we try to do things right in the county?
That's what I'm trying to do.
I mean, why don't we...
I'm giving the landowners the choice.
Let me finish. Why don't we get a hold of each one of those property owners and personally let them know what's going on? That's all I'm asking, to be open and transparent in government.
I have talked.
And we can say that we send them a notice and they don't respond. Well, yeah, they agree. That's not good government from what I'm standpoint.
I've talked to the folks in Reno. I've talked to the folks over in Champaign. I've talked to the folks in Arizona on the phone.
I'm just saying that one of my requests was, which is a very reasonable request.
But if we can't,
everybody is notified.
We have to use a certified mail. That's what we have to do to cover our legal requirements.
I understand that as legal requirements. But I'm saying, as far as we as a county need to go above and beyond to make sure everyone involved in that is notified and spoken to. And if you don't, then I have a real problem with that.
Well, and that's the reason why I went in July at the drainage board meeting, I said, the first inquiry we got back, we didn't get enough acres to move forward with this. My recommendation to the drainage board was to abandon it. And the drainage board said, no, there's too much at stake. We need to take it one step further. And that's when we had to go back and get the engineering study and all that other kind of stuff.
So the determination is still out anyway.
Determination's still out. And when it comes to the, 1.46 or to $1.5 million project, as of yesterday, let me make sure, the SRF is not an option because they can't cover that amount.
Did you get old Daniel Elliott, the treasurer I told you about?
That's what I'm getting to. Okra is not an option because it's not enough households served. Vermilion County local funds can contribute to the project, but you've already said the commissioners are not going to put any money in on it. The Vermilion County Foundation, they don't have the funds, so we're down to two different funding sources, which is either the Indiana Bond Bank or the local bank loan. Now, the Indiana Bond Bank has already told me for them to process the bonds and market the bonds to whatever financial institution buys them is going to be upwards of 40 grand. We still have to have a municipal advisor, an attorney, specializes in those types of things. Steve Brock has already told me his services is going to be around 10. The final engineering is going to be around 13, and the asset management plan for the structure is going to be another 4,000.
So with this project,
4,000.
you're spending money out of your own account to do this, right? You got in yours.
All we got in it is my time.
Well,
My time and my postage.
the thing about the whole thing about a drainage of that, the whole design of that is to whatever money is generated into that account is supposed to take care of that issue.
But there is no account set up.
But I'm saying the drainage board, for one of those drains to work, and it makes sense. You have all these people in this area.
Right.
And I think it's great that they all get together and they say, hey, we're going to come together and we're going to assess, $15 to $20, $10, $5 an acre to maintain this. It makes sense. So the original thing that I didn't have no problem with is if you got money going into this and it's going back out and everybody's benefiting from it, then that makes sense.
Right.
But now you're saying we're going to put $1.5 million or $1 million debt on this.
No.
There's going to be $1 million occurred.
The county, I'm going to facilitate the financial part of it.
But see,
the landowners are going to pay it.
But yet, we as a county will be responsible for taking care of.
No, we won't hold the bonds. We don't hold the bonds. We have all we're doing is facilitating the money. We're just handing it from the farmer to the bank. That's all we're
Okay,
doing.
so who's going to take care of the collection of these fees? Who's going to assess these fees, and who's going to file
The
liens on
assessment,
properties?
when it comes down to it, the assessment will be done by the drainage board. They say, okay, we owe this much money, we got this many years to pay it, there's how many dollars an acre it's going to cost you per year.
But on the other hand, who's responsible for that? Totally. I mean, is the drainage board
it
going
comes
to
out
be paying
on-
all of it, and it's their baby, or there's some contact here with the county, and that's what I'm trying to.
Technically, there's supposed to be a person in the auditor's office that monitors this, technically. And then a landowner is free to pay in as much or money as they want to every year, as long as they meet their minimum. So if you have an $8 corn year, you might get some extra payments. Well, that has to set in a separate account for that drain, just like the maintenance funds, and it's to be used to retire the debt.
But I'm saying, you're assessing property for 20 years, you're going to put tax on these properties.
No, it's not a tax, it's an assessment.
Anyway, they got to pay it.
They have to pay it, right?
Yeah, and so my question is these other 49% or whoever, there's going to be some that's not going to want to do this,
Right.
and you're going to force those people to do that.
Well, if you read the law, there's a process by which the assessment is mandated. And they have the opportunity to come in and argue their point, whether it's the same as what a farmer pays, or whether it's less, or whether it's more. It's a process. You just don't arbitrarily go out and sign a number per acre. That's
I know,
why-
I know you're coming up with a number, but I'm just saying,
But that's why you look at all the property records for data. Now fortunately, the Soil and Water Conservation District set that up and they did it correctly. If you look at each landowner's record for their tax assessment, Code 81, right over here on the bottom, some are paying $1 an acre, some are paying $1.26 an acre, some are paying $1.16 an acre, and it's been that way since 1973.
and I have no problem with accounts set up that the money goes in and the money is spent out is the money goes in account.
That's right.
When you're putting asset and creating a liability to someone, and you don't have that money in that pocket. You don't have it.
But it's like,
So
it's like
you're-
Brian says, banks will buy these up because they know it's guaranteed money coming in. So you won't have any problem getting a bank taken on this.
But we're not clear on the process of how this works. It's been assessed or whatever by the drainage board. The drainage board now, we got some issues there because number one is we did have, originally it was 3 commissioners on that board.
Mhm.
And we thought it was a good idea to get local people in the community to do it, and I thought it was a great idea. But since then, we've lost, issues come up, we've lost a county attorney that was on that board, he won't serve no more. Britton Luther resigned off that board, and I resigned off that board.
Mhm.
So, I mean, for 3 people resigning, we got internal problems.
Well, the
There's
3
another
problems
attorney
was,
that resigned also.
the three of them that resigned never came to any of the meetings. I
I've been to
scheduled the
meetings,
meetings,
I
I called the meetings, when can you guys come? And nobody
That
showed
is a
up.
problem too, Ron. You're not to be doing those things. That's up to the board. You're an advisor only on that board, and you've been changing meetings, changing locations. I sat up here for 2 hours waiting for a
And
meeting
you
that
got
didn't happen.
notice that was having it downstairs,
Yeah,
2 weeks ahead of time.
you can't be doing those things.
Yeah, I
It's a
can.
published
Good.
meeting.
It
Ron,
is published that way.
You're an
It's-
advisor only.
Here-
You are non-voting, you don't hold a position on that, you do not set the meetings, the board does. You're doing these things over and above the board, and you're running gunshot over the board.
Well,
too.
and
Let's-
the problem is, the commissioner self-appointed himself to the drainage board from 1966 to 2020, and it completely ignored the drainage law.
And you run gunshot over it since. You've
And I'm
been in
gonna take
office.
sure I'm responsible to take care of it.
I'm stopping this conversation. But I'm saying, I want to know, there has to be something changed because I served there because I wanted to be the
But you only
person-
came to 2
let me-
meetings all year.
I've been to meetings I could make it,
No, I scheduled them around your work schedule,
okay?
and you didn't come.
But that's not, my attendance
There
is.
again, you schedule.
Let me finish it. My attendance is when I can be there and when I can't. And I understand your schedule. Sometimes I can't be there. I mean, sometimes you can't be there. But I'm saying the issue is how do we make these things work? And
Well, I send out an email to all the board
Let me
members.
finish.
Here's a selection of dates. When can you guys come?
I understand.
Okay.
And you send out the meetings. I've told you you've done a wonderful job as for a surveyor, doing your job. You've done it more better than anybody else has, and I've said it all along. But we have a problem here, and I'm trying to get to the bottom of it. I've talked to you personally about issues, and that didn't work. And then when the last time that I served on this board to be the intermediate, to make everything work, I want to be the peacemaker, and then you send a letter to one of the drainage board members accusing me of harassing them and stuff like that. I should, if I'm a board member of this board, I have every right to talk to anybody else on that board, anytime I want to.
But you went behind the rest of the board's back.
How can you go behind someone's back when you call them up and talk to them?
Okay.
I'm a board member. Do I not
That's
have
fine,
right to
that's
talk to
fine.
another board member?
I accept
You
the
know, listen, now
I
let me finish
accept the
this.
responsibility for that. That's fine. The guy still wants to serve.
I'm just saying, when you send letters out accusing me of harassment of another board member who I personally know who is my friend, I think they corrected you on that too.
He did.
That was inappropriate, very inappropriate. And then you go talk to other board members, so you have a right to talk to board members, and I don't have a right to talk to board members?
I didn't say
That's
anything.
no, that's the letter you sent out. I've talked to 3 other board members about this. And I talked to one board member and I'm wrong? That's not right. I have a right that, every board has a right to talk to their other members. But you have a right to discretion to say, you can't talk to that person?
No.
That's what you
not.
did. You sent a letter and said, I harassed my
No,
neighbor.
that's not what I did, but that's
You did
okay.
that. Are you going to apologize for that?
Yeah, I apologize.
Okay.
And I apologized, and I sent the email.
That's
and I
the
apologized.
problem we have.
Okay,
That's the
So
problem.
anyway.
No, we're still talking about this board.
Okay. So when are we gonna get the board member appointed?
Let me finish. This board, we have to work together. Okay?
Right.
I came to you and tried to deal with it privately. I've tried to deal with it privately, and it hasn't worked. So now we have an issue that RJ would, it sounds like RJ is going on that board.
Appreciate it.
RJ, well, I've talked to RJ, and we, with the whole understanding is anything that he discusses there will be brought back to the commissioners. And we three commissioners will be making that decision based on what that. And RJ
What
RJ admits he's not a water and sewer guy and that, and
Yeah,
he
I'll be
understands that.
Yeah, I'll be the first to say I don't know much about drainage, but I'd be willing to serve on that board.
I'm concerned about decision.
But what?
The board makes the decision.
Well, I'm going there too. I haven't got there yet.
Well,
So-
I'd be willing to serve.
Well, and that serves one of the things that Brett wanted us to do when we first started this, is to have a non-knowledgeable person on the board to ask questions.
Well,
So
you'll
it's
get
that
that with
purpose.
me because I don't know much about drainage, so you'll get that with me, and I'll have lots of
That's
questions.
fine.
But I'm willing to serve on that, and I know Kurt Hill has expressed interest in being reappointed. I would like to see him reappointed as well. I think each one of those members bring a certain aspect of drainage that has been missing on the drainage board for years. But yeah, I am willing to serve, and I'll be willing to make, I know Ron had sent out some meeting dates trying to work with everybody. Some farmers and excavators are busy, you know, I'm busy, so I'll do my best to make those meetings, and I will relay whatever information comes from those meetings. And I do know Ron sends out that report at the end of the month as
And I send out
well.
a copy of the
Job
minutes to every commissioner and all the councilmen, every meeting we have. I
Who's
send
the
out copies of the
secretary?
minutes.
Who's the secretary on the board?
Well, I'm the acting secretary because I'm the only
You
one.
can't be. You can't fill those positions.
I am the only one with the capacity to perform the
Well,
job.
there's the problem, a problem anyway. I'm not in favor of continuing this board in the form it's at. I believe the commissioners need to step back in and fill the position of the board as the executive. This has not been working because of a number of issues, of which, well.
It has been working quite well.
But
You,
the thing about
we're in disagreement with that.
the thing about the community and different departments, they have to work together.
Right.
And issues that we have need to be kept between us, and shouldn't be going out public. I've asked you about that, and you did stuff publicly that
I have
asked you-
nothing to hide.
That's not the point.
Yes, it is. Being open and honest and accountable to the taxpayers
The number
is
one
what's
thing
most
is,
important.
when you have issues within departments, you try to work them out between departments. And when you go publicly, you make issues that shouldn't be there. You know, I've tried to serve, and you've accused me of things that's totally false. You tried to run my political career.
Oh, I don't believe it did, but that's okay.
When you publicly accuse me of hacking into the county email, and you said you're going to turn me into the Attorney General, you realize that I helped you get elected, I got you to run for office, and you was willing to destroy me publicly. I have a real problem with that.
Well,
And it wasn't
I
true.
felt like I was attacked
It was
first.
not true. It was not true.
you know, I was elected
What
to this
happened is-
office, and I have the
So-
statutes to back what I do, and everything I've done, you two guys have attacked me on from day one.
No.
And I'm not gonna take it anymore.
We as county executives, we're responsible for the county.
I'm a county executive.
I know, but
I
there's
don't
certain
answer to
things.
anybody but the taxpayer.
No,
No,
you
that's not true.
I do not answer to the commissioners.
okay, you just asked that. You just hired a surveyor, right?
Yes.
Did you come to the commissioners for approval?
I can't remember, but I probably did at that time.
I don't think you did. And that's the law. So you're saying it.
No.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, okay, we'll look it up. We'll look it up. But my question is just very
Because the
simple.
statutes were named on that,
From a drainage board,
and the
I'm
statutes were named on
100%
that.
for it. We as the county commissioners are 100% for doing the job, doing it right. But something's got to change.
Okay.
I haven't did nothing wrong. And if we have problems, I asked you to keep it private between us, and it hasn't been. And if this board is going to continue to exist, then we're going to have some changes in that board as far as the way we do communication. And I just telling you, I mean,
But
that's...
what the board gets fed up with is that you guys get copies of every board minutes that we have, and then we come in 2 meetings or 3 minutes later, and we're asking the questions that have already been settled. The board has already made that decision. That's the problem.
Well, all I'm saying is I want us to work together, and I'm willing to meet with you privately and talk about things which I've done in the past to resolve this and make this work. I have no problem with people on the drainage board. I think you drove the wedges between me and the drainage board, and many comments you made public about the commissioners and negative comments.
I didn't drive those wedges.
Well, that's what I sense, but the negative public comments about us I mean, I don't go around and badmouth you guys publicly, and I think the drainage boards, I think they're a wonderful group of guys, and some of them are my neighbors. So I'm just saying that I want to see this continue, but you and I and the rest of us got to come together some type of thing that we work together, and we keep our issues with us, you know.
Fine.
And so, but to publicly come out against me and say you're going to turn me into Attorney General for hacking an county email, which was totally false, and willing to destroy my career, I'm just trying to figure out what is your objective of doing that?
I
mean, why would you do that to
job.
me?
Don't come at me and try to interfere with what we're doing when we're abiding by the law.
That's what I asked.
You've never had anybody in this position that took this
I agree.
position seriously.
I agree, and I've told you you've done a good job on that.
I don't do nothing. I've told you before. I don't do anything until I call 3 or 4 other county surveyors from around the state.
That's good.
How do you do it? What's the right way of doing it?
But
And I think it must be successful, or I wouldn't have got that award last
But
year.
my question is, why would you say you was going to turn me into Attorney General for hacking in the county email, which was a totally false statement, and trying to destroy me? I'm trying to understand, why would you do that to me? Why would you do that? I mean, you have to have some motive.
Heat of the moment.
Huh?
I apologize. That's the only thing I can say.
But I'm just trying to figure out why would I do something to someone that's tried to help me over these years, helped me get elected, helped me run for office? Why would I do something like that to somebody? I mean, it seems like you've got to have some different motive there that made you do that.
I don't have any motive at all. I just want to do the job that hasn't been done for 60 years.
But that comment you made was totally false about me.
Yes, I learned that. I agree to that. I apologize for that.
The thing I want to see is I want to see us work together. And
Well,
like
you
I
too.
said, I know
you-
Britt has an opinion, and
you-
RJ's got an opinion, but we all, in purpose, know that government has to work
And
together.
I told you before, when I have something to bring to commissioners, I want to be completely prepared and have all your questions answered. I'm not going to pester you, come to every little meeting and take up 10 or 15 minutes of conversation that doesn't have to happen if I'm not prepared to bring something solid to the commissioners that require action one way or the other.
But you said you can do what you want, so,
I can do all what I want until it comes to a certain point,
okay.
so I can work as hard as I want on this regulated drain and try to come up with a plan.
I mean, it's just like what happened with, and I know we're talking too long, but the situation happened out at the Chung Cemetery. I don't understand why you did what you did at Chung Cemetery.
Because when you set those GPS posts down, we want that spot to be the exact same spot.
Who did that?
Anybody
Who
from-
set that point?
I did,
You drilled into that
Can't do
monument?
that.
into the rock. Yes.
Here's what happened is,
I
I've
can
been
do
working
that
with Chung.
anywhere. That's standard practice
Oh
all over
my
the state of
gosh.
Indiana.
No,
Rick, hey,
no,
Rick,
not
Rick,
at
Rick.
all.
Absolutely
Rick, I
it
got
is.
You
and the-
destroyed
Rick.
a monument. You
Rick.
I did not
defaced a
destroy the monument.
Brett, I got this. I got this.
I did
Oh
not
my
destroy the
God.
monument. You
Hey.
need to go out there and look at it and see
I
what you
did
did.
see
We
that.
did.
I didn't know you did.
Let me explain what happened here. I've been working
Wow.
on Chung Cemetery, and Britt's been helping me on it
Oh
for
my gosh, I can't believe
the
it.
last 7 or
200
8 years, 6
and then
years. We've invested a lot of
takes 3
money
years
in
and
that
it's just-
cemetery. And I found one of the historical markers there that was stone that was put in probably 1816 by the original
Federal
land
surveyors.
surveyors for the state of Indiana, and it had a mark in it, and I found that. And that cemetery, that's, to me, that's a historical piece that needs preserved. And so we was gonna barricade it off and put a, historical thing there. This is original, it's neat. And I knew that he was looking for these pins, so I thought it'd be nice to let him know, hey, Ron, I got this pin. Well, what happened when he went out there, instead of looking at it and calling him and telling me I got it recorded, this stone that is a historical marker and very valuable to me. I mean, you work on a project for years and years of preservation and invest, $8,000 to $10,000 of your own money, and you want to see this thing preserved. Well, then Ron took on himself, after he found it, to take and drill a hole in the center of it
Right.
and paint it all red.
Right.
And
Standard
it's-
procedure.
But
No,
I'm
it
saying
isn't.
that-
Anywhere in the state.
That is not
Let's-
even close to being a
we
standard
we will
procedure.
we will find out the legal on that.
I already have. I
But
understand
my
that.
question to you is, Ron, is why didn't you call and tell me, say, Tim, is it okay I paint this and drill this hole in it and have a little bit of communication with me instead of saying I have a right to do this and I'll do it regardless
You're
if you
not
like
even
it
a
or not.
surveyor. My
So I
gosh.
don't understand why
The
you would.
surveyor was standing right next to me.
Okay, but anyway, I don't understand. I was trying to help you because I said,
Right.
Ron, I found one. I thought it was great because I found one for you. But then when you came and you destroyed something to me, whether it's any
Didn't
value to
destroy it.
you, and it was valuable to me. It was part of my project.
It has a little hole in it about that deep.
It's got a hole in about 1/8 inch hole drilled in it.
And
But
that's
anyway,
where the
but
GPS point goes, so 100 years from now, a guy can put a GPS marker
But-
in it and
That's
No.
not
come
even
up
what
with the
that
exact
monument
same one.
represents.
but anyway, the
That's
question.
exactly how you do it.
The question I-
Exactly how you do it all over the
The
state.
question
of
I have
Indiana.
to you, Ron, is why didn't you call and tell me, say, Tim, this is what I need to do to this marker, and have some communication. But instead, I called you up and you said, I have a right to do it, and you can't tell me what to do. I'm thinking, where's this process we're working together? You had no respect and I gave you that information. And you went out and did it, and you told me that I can do what I want. You destroyed something that I think
I
that...
did not destroy it.
Well, you drilled a hole in it.
Right.
The original X there was put there by men of 1816, original
Right,
founders
and you
of
marked
Richmond.
those holes.
And it was valuable, so
With
I don't
today's
understand.
GPS technology, you mark those holes
No, you
exactly.
don't. No, you don't.
But what I'm
Yes, you
saying,
do.
Then why hasn't it been done before you got here?
Yeah. But
Go
anyway,
over and look in Boone County, go over and look in Montgomery
Anyway.
County, go over and look in
Those aren't
Marion
even,
County.
Hey,
that's
we'll
not even
address the legal
mark.
issue later.
That's not even how this
Hey.
survey.
Yes, it is.
We'll address the legal issue later. My question is, why didn't you just say, Tim, I got to do this to this rock, 'cause I don't want to offend you, but when you did it and I
never
asked you
occurred to
about
me.
it, you
It never even occurred to me.
That's what I'm saying. And
The
then when I
surveyor
talked
was
to you, you
standing right there
said,
next to me.
but when I talked to you about it, you said, I got a right to do it and I'll do it and you won't stop me. I'm thinking, why
Well,
don't
you
let's
attacked
try
me
to work
over it.
together.
You attacked me over it.
What?
You attacked me over it. Why did I destroy that?
Yeah, because it was a
And it wasn't-
historical
it
piece to
wasn't
me.
destroyed.
But that's what I'm saying is, our big issue we have here is with communication. And I want it to work, okay? And I'm willing to say this drainage board, let's see it work and give it a chance to
Okay.
work. But we gotta change the way we're communicating, and we have issues, we gotta deal with them privately, not publicly. And I'm tired of getting beat up.
Well, I'm tired of being attacked. When I'm
I-
operating under the authority of,
What?
when I'm operating under the authority of the statutes.
Yeah, your
I-
interpretation of statutes, maybe.
But
And your
anyway-
interpretation of statutes.
Anyway, here's where I'm at on this, and we're gonna move on. I'm in favor of seeing, Mr. Hill appointed to the board.
Thank you.
I will say that there has to be some changes. There will be changes.
Tell me what you want.
We're gonna work together and we're not have problems.
That don't tell me what you want specifically.
Plain and simple, open communications.
Well,
I
I'll
don't
send
say
you a
anything
copy.
about you publicly and you don't say anything about me publicly. You
Okay.
don't attack the board. And we work together.
And the board doesn't attack me.
Well, yeah.
That's a reasonable request.
We have open communication.
There you go.
And we can go in here and communicate and talk, and we come out, we disagree.
Right.
But as far as this county to work forward and move forward, we gotta make this thing work.
Absolutely.
And I want it to work.
I do too.
For everybody. So I want you to stop and think about some of this stuff, and I'll check and evaluate my thing and see if I said anything wrong, I'll apologize.
There you go.
But there's only one way that's gonna work, and we'll monitor it and see how it works out.
Okay.
But I have no problem with Kurt. Kurt, good friend of mine, wonderful guy, and I have no problem with nobody on that drainage board.
There you go.
But we have to get to a place where we make this
But
work.
we do dent.
We deal with it at a
We
professional
do
level.
dent every monument, every rock we find, and that's, so the point of the GPS instrument can be there, and the next guy comes along, he can find it exactly in the same spot. And we're using 28 satellites from clear across the globe, and we are always within 1 inch of being absolutely correct. And that's the reason why those holes are knocked in there. Now, that might have been a little bit too deep.
I still think it shouldn't have been done, but that's my personal opinion. I'll research that.
It's not
myself.
even a section corner, it's
Yeah.
it's a.
I don't think it is,
half
but I'll
section.
research it. But there's some legal issues that we will be addressing with you, and we'll make sure that we'll make sure we're in our place, and we're operating within our box,
And I will get with
And
the
you have
Indiana
a box.
County Surveyors Association and respond.
and you have your scope of work, and you gotta stay within your confines. And we gotta
Right.
work together through those boxes, so, and any issue we have, we'll be addressing it again. We'll talk about it.
Well, Tim, if you're good with Kurt Hill going back on the board to get back to the original, I think having the operational board, I'm in favor of Kurt Hill going back on that board. And as I stated in an email last week, I'm willing to serve on that drainage board as the county executive if the majority of the commissioners agree.
And I will tell you that the board is insisting not to have meetings just for the sake of having meetings. When we have meetings, they want an agenda, and they're willing to wait a month or 2 months so we can all be there and intelligently discuss any issues we have.
Do you participate in any voting?
No, absolutely not. It's you five guys.
Okay, that's where I'm at.
So, the
I
only thing
don't,
I do is
and I don't agree that, I think the executive ought to take it back over, the 3 county commissioners. The
Well, here's
board
the-
is a good board, I agree.
They're a good
But the
board.
problem that we have is the county surveyor has continued to weigh in and in inappropriate ways, and I don't agree with a lot of the actions that are being taken.
And-
So and the board isn't privy to the information that they need, and it's being slanted toward running the county into a issue, probably a monetary issue coming up.
It will be a monetary issue.
Well, I'm not sure how things are getting paid for now, but it's just like, well, anyway.
And here's the
I'm not in
problem.
agreement with
Okay.
this. You're done.
No, I'm not.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna be
Hey,
gone
let's-
next
let's-
year, and you're
This
gonna
is
be
a
gone
county
next
commission-
year.
I'm in
meeting?
control of this. Hey, I'm in control of this. You let him speak, and then you'll have your closing
No,
comments.
he
we'll
doesn't
move on.
have.
Yes, he does.
This is a county
Okay.
commissioner meeting, not a surveyor's meeting.
Okay, but go ahead.
This issue has been a problem from the very get-go. He ran off John Spur, he's run off myself, because of the way in which he interprets statute according to the way he likes to hear them. He bends the board, he tells the board issue or information that's not true. They don't know any different, they don't have the time because they are working individuals, they're not paid for this board. And they take his
They are
word for it.
paid.
And the issue is that
You'll get comment.
we can't continue doing this.
Okay.
We need to have the county commissioners back in charge of this until it gets in a pattern which is conducive and that will be good for the county as far as any type of drainage issues that come up. I've had problems with them going out and dictating about dams, about water issues.
We've never
We
discussed
just go,
You'll
I
get
mean,
talk,
it's,
you'll talk.
we've had people spend money on advice that was poor advice. It should have been done by a competent engineer,
Okay.
and it wasn't. We've had local drainage issues that have been addressed that shouldn't have been addressed by the county surveyor, of which is inappropriate.
Okay.
So we can't continue down this road with the drainage board. There's other issues with the surveyor's office as well, but serving also as a secretary to the board because nobody else has time to do it. There's another reason for the county executive to take this over. He can't hold a position on the board. It's disturbing. It has been disturbing from the very get-go, and that's why John Spur quit. That's why I quit, and I believe another lawyer had resigned from this also, one previous to the one that's there now.
Yeah, he retired to go farm.
Well, whatever reason. But we can't continue down this road. We shouldn't continue down this road, and I am opposed to keeping the drainage board as it is currently. Not because of the drainage board members, minus the surveyor, but the executive needs to take it back over.
Okay. Your closing comment, I'll give you a word or two.
Well, we've not done anything without a professional engineer's input. Not one thing. Not one. And we've got the bills that we paid for to prove it.
But did you make a recommendation at Horseshoe Lake on some drainage?
Yeah, I did. I told them they needed to put it back to the original USDA drawing, and then I called Britton out there to come up with a solution. If he's not a professional engineer, who is?
You told them to put in a little 6-inch decant drain out there, and that's what they did. They
No, I
spent
didn't.
$12,000. That's
I did not do that. They did that on their own. I have the original drawings that my dad drew up when they got the federal money to build that pond. Britton,
That's
I
not
told
what
them
they-
that's
Okay,
exactly where it
so,
had to go
hey,
back.
That's not
We're
what
gonna
they
move on
told
with
me.
this. We're gonna move on with this.
So you are
Here,
wrong.
we're gonna move on with this. I am willing to work with the Drainage Board to see how it progresses. And I think that we have some issues here that, from a legal standpoint, and you probably have a right to voice your opinion and things, and we have a meeting, and not here, and we don't need to do this here, and let's work this out. Let's figure out how we can make two departments work together. And that's my whole basis, and if it don't work out, then we'll have to address it in a
So
different way.
basically what I do is I just set the agenda and I say, folks, when can you get together for a meeting?
So that's the end of conversation. We're gonna appoint, Mr. Hill, and then we will set up another meeting, between the commissioners and you to talk about these other issues. So-
And the only thing about it is, yes, I shouldn't serve as secretary, but I've just taken it upon myself because I have the ability to do it.
Understand.
So we will elect, when we get our next meeting, when we elect our officers, we will elect a secretary. Now, I'll still be probably the one entering it on the computer,
Yeah.
but we'll have a secretary.
I appreciate that.
So Tim, to clarify for Ron, county executive, is there an agreement between the majority of the commissioners?
Britain says no, I say yes, so that resolves that.
And
it
so
will-
I will serve on there.
It will be we'll see how this
You
goes.
guys will continue to get minutes of the board meetings,
And then,
just like always.
RJ will be
And as
reporting
far as the
back.
field computer goes, I'm not in favor of the field computer. This is an administrative position. He's supposed to be hiring a surveyor to go out and do this type of information. The surveyor is supposed to be approved by the county commissioners, by the executive, same thing with the, any civil engineering
I believe
type
if you go look at
project,
the
if he's not a
contract, the
competent
statutes are listed on
surveyor
there,
or
so.
engineer. So I'm not in agreement. Also, we need to get the information back from EAS as far as the computers, the status of all the computers in the county, and a normal turnout for those as well. But field computer is not something that the surveyor's office needs at this point in time until we have a competent surveyor.
I'm not in favor of that right now at this present time.
Yeah,
So.
the only thing I do is I go out and I scout the locations, so we're not paying the professional surveyors $80 to $100 an hour to go out and traipse through the woods. If I could get out there in front of them and find it first.
I really don't
Saves
have
the
a
county
problem with
time.
a lot of the stuff going on. And I just think these two departments have to work together. And it's ultimate that we make this work.
Yeah.
And I'm willing to sit down and talk with you and the board, and we commissioners come together and make this work. And if it don't work, we'll have to do something different. That's all I can say.
And Ron, you had submitted a quote, and I know the majority of the commissioners are against that laptop right now, but was there any, and the cost may be part of that reasoning, I'm not sure, but does the county have any extra laptops? Like,
I checked around.
There's
Before
nothing.
Before I ever
That's
even
what
got
Britt
that.
got one off of the county.
Before I ever got that far, I checked around. And
okay, I was just curious, I knew
Nobody
you had a
had one.
quote, so I just thought I'd ask if there was any extras
Yeah,
laying
and then I
around.
asked Ashley about if he knew if they had any around, and he said.
One
no.
other question I have before you go. You said that someone forced you to carry tools.
Yeah,
in
when
the
I go
report.
out and I'm looking for things, I
Yeah,
have to
but
carry
who-
tools.
Who forced you to carry
Well,
tools?
it's the job.
The question is, I asked you, you said that someone forced you to carry all your tools. And I want to know who that person is or who that entity that forced you to do that.
Well, if I have to carry the tools.
You made a public statement that
Right.
someone forced you to carry
Well, if
all
I
your
don't have
tools.
if I've requested.
But who forced you to do that?
Well, you forced me to do it.
Who
because
did?
The county has forced me to do it because I don't have the capacity to carry those tools.
It's not your
Manual.
job.
It's not, but that goes back to the situation is really, your job is an administrative job as a,
That's an opinion.
And then you're supposed to hire a licensed surveyor
I do.
to do that work. So why would you have to be carrying tools? And why would you act like we made you do something? We didn't make you do anything. And you put in writing that we made you carry your tools, and I'm thinking, did one of you guys come up telling me to carry his tools?
I didn't think I said made me carry tools.
Said forced.
So,
Yeah,
I
I'm
mean,
forced to carry them because I don't have any
but
other
who
way to
did?
get the
But
tools
who forced
in
you to
place.
do that? Who forced you to do it? You had to have someone in mind when you said it. Who is it?
The county, the history in general. You haven't had a surveyor for X number, all these years.
I know, but I'm just
So
trying
you
to
put
figure out. I
me in
mean,
a
if it's
position
me,
to
tell
do
me
it.
it's me. You know.
No, I'm not gonna say it's you, I'm saying the county in general.
Okay. No one
That-
forced you to carry anything you did on your own free will.
That's
Because
exactly
you're
right.
not obligated to do it in the first place, right?
Technically,
Okay. That's
but
what I want to hear.
you can either spend $80 to $100 an hour and pay some poor kid to walk out there through the woods and do it, or I can go find it, and then all they gotta do is go do their GPS reading and
I
save that
have
much
no
money.
problem. I just want to know, the print was that someone forced you into this, and I just want to know who it
I
was.
said I was forced to do it because I had to take the tools with me.
Okay, so you're the one that forced yourself. then.
Right.
Okay, that's all I want to hear. Okay. Very good, let's move on. Thank you, and then we'll get together and talk some more. I'd like to work together, and anything you guys, the board, can talk with me, or
Okay, fine.
Thank you. Groundwater withdrawal, that is still ongoing. We're going to have a meeting north and south. Eric Scheidler has got some information. I don't know if he forwarded it to all you guys yet. But it's a big deal about withdrawal of water from our local facility. You got any comment on that, Britton?
The USGS is now, I don't know if it's a coincidence or what, is in the Illinois Basin, which includes the Wabash River, and for some reason they're now flying the Wabash River Basin, in fact in Vermilion County, measuring basically electromagnetic survey for the groundwater situation here, and it's who knows to what use, but, well, number of uses that can come from. But it's coincidental that this maybe is happening with that, but Tippecanoe and with the water withdrawal there, that now they're doing a groundwater study and surface water study. Just a coincidence, I guess, but be prepared for some more information probably coming from that, and some studies being probably paid for to address the issue of cross-boundary or cross-watershed extraction of water, so that's where I have a feeling this may be going. So
I do know that the state had that controlled by the Economic Development Corporation, and they took that study outside of their control, and I think that was a good move from the state. I really don't know where it's going to go, because water rights is something that, as a state, we usually don't deal very much with water rights. I mean, effectively right now we got Georgetown pumping water out of our area to Georgetown. We got Paris, Illinois doing the same thing south of here. So,
well, those are in the same watershed units, or depending on what you define it. There's subunits and units, and then there's the watersheds. But there's not in Indiana. There is no. I think the only permitting requirement is if you're a large withdrawal, and that's just a notice, basically, or was. I haven't checked it recently, but it was just a notice to the state DNR that you're withdrawing over a certain dollar or certain million gallons of water.
so that's ongoing. So
It's only a reporting requirement, I believe.
maybe by next meeting have some stuff up for that. Courthouse closing procedure.
We do need to move forward with, because the state doesn't regulate it, that means the county can do things. So it's something that there's been some, I think Tippecanoe has passed an ordinance for that county. I don't believe it's good enough for our county anyway. There's some changes in language and changes in some of the issues that I think should also be addressed in that Tippecanoe. I think it's a good base, but I think that can go a little bit further. Plus, I think it's only a temporary ordinance. It only carries for so many years, and then it gets reevaluated, which I think any ordinance can be reevaluated at any time. But there's some issues with that Tippecanoe, and I'd like to massage or make different.
I don't know if there's a date there. I don't know if we're looking at
I
a
would
date.
like to work towards an ordinance for the county. I would.
Yeah.
I know Tippecanoe has one, and I don't know what Vigo
Yeah,
did.
an
They might have.
ordinance, not a resolution.
Yeah, I
an
think
ordinance.
an ordinance because you can hold some more teeth. But I'm with Britton. I think maybe we can. I don't know what else more you can put in it or things you can do.
There are things we can do that I think should be added to it. It's a good base. It's a good starting, well, more than a starting point.
Yeah.
It carries the ball quite a ways. I just think there needs to be some additions to
Well,
it.
could we put that on the agenda so we continue?
Yeah, we need to keep that on the agenda. If anybody can bring back some more information. I know that Tippecanoe sent us a copy of that, didn't they?
Somebody, I
Somebody
don't know
did.
who did, but yeah,
I
somebody
haven't.
did.
Several of the other counties are just doing resolutions, but I would like to do an ordinance. I think that would be a
Sure.
better option.
Yeah,
You want to take the
resolution's
lead
the
on that
same.
resolution,
It
up to
has
you,
no teeth.
RJ, if you want to.
What's that?
If you want to take the lead on getting that resolution and working that up, that's fine.
I can work with Britton on the ordinance because I mean I've got Tippecanoe, but I don't know what other things I can put in there. You know, if you've got ideas, we can go back and forth on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
They've restricted it to certain wells and things, and I don't,
Okay, I can
Yeah,
work.
I-
I can work with him on it.
Okay.
certain types of wells.
Sounds good. Okay, courthouse closing procedures. I do want to make a mention that the courthouse is open today. Elected office holders have a right to close their office if they want to at any time, as long as the courthouse is here with the water and the sewer and electric and on, and then we think it's our obligation to keep it on. So, has anyone came up with any type of?
I've
Yeah.
not worked on it.
I haven't worked on it
I
either.
haven't.
Maybe we
I
ought to
think.
get something from other counties or something, maybe that.
Yeah, I think in the minimum, I think some of the office holders are just looking for some direction. You know, if the courthouse does close, what are they looking for? Are they looking for, you know, in the past we always utilized a group text. If we want to move to an email, that way they don't have to ask. You know, I'm sure you received text last night. I received text. Instead of just saying, hey, unless you see this email that states courthouse is closed, just like if you're a teacher at a school, you know, you wait for that official notice from the school. I think just letting them know, hey, the courthouse will remain open unless you receive this document, whether it's in a text or an email or whatever.
Right.
I think that's what they're looking for, because in the past it was always kind of, you know, you get it closed late, or well, and with the weather you never know. I mean, when weather comes in, you just don't know.
Did the auditor have all the emails, all the county employees that they can do a blanket?
It's an
Send it out
all-county
through.
email.
Yeah.
There's an all-county email.
Okay. Okay, that would be the thing to do.
Yeah. So I'm just telling them to be on the lookout for something like that.
Okay. So we're gonna work on that for the next meeting. Put it
I
on the
think
agenda.
we can probably predefine certain things that would close the courthouse,
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah.
Not that we
Put
could
that on the
have
agenda
other
for
alternatives
next
as well.
meeting.
Yeah. Just like here's the 4 or 5 options that, you know, weather, no water, no sewage, no electricity, power
Yeah.
for so long. Yeah.
But it is up to the board, to the elected officers. They can close, they control their office. If they wanna
Well,
close it, they can close anytime they want to. We don't have
But
to
if the
control it.
courthouse is closed, their office is closed.
Yeah, no, I'm
Is that
saying, they can make exceptions if they want to, because they control their office.
We also need to define that further as whether it's the courthouse, plus we have our satellite offices as well. What does that do to those? So it's
Right.
some addition to that maybe as well.
Because it's like the sheriff's department, they still don't get off. Highway department still don't get off.
Yeah, you can't close the jail.
So, okay. Department and board appointments, we're okay, put that back on the list for next meeting, right?
Ready to make Board of Health.
The courthouse closing procedure.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
Department and board appointments. We made 2 appointments to
We haven't, yeah, we need to.
today.
Yeah.
We'll make it official.
I'd like to nominate Joni Kenizer to the Board of Health and also Michael Williams to the Board of Health. Effectively, this provides 2 persons who are not in the medical or not directly in the medical profession, just indirect to that. With the patterns going on with the Board of Health now, or with the health department, with the amount of money being distributed now to more programs and not just necessarily health related, or no, I guess they're health related programs, but non-medical necessarily. I think these 2 appointments will add a benefit to that board to give it a little bit of a broader perspective of the community and the neighborhood, and it
Sure.
fulfills our obligations as far as the number of Republicans, Democrats, Independents, whatever, that are on the board, and the number of professions that have to be on the board as well. And I'd like to see our board maybe continue that a little bit, where it's not totally
Doctors
all
and
doctors,
nurses,
yeah. And I
And
think that helps, this starts that process,
Yeah.
and maybe it completes it, but at least starts that process.
yeah.
So I'd like to make a motion for those two individuals to fill the 2 slots. I think Dr., shoot, escapes me. Terry Hill is the RN, and
Crane.
Dr.
Great.
Crane, yeah, I was going to say Crane, but I was thinking of the show, Dr. Crane. But that's not right.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'd like to make that motion.
Okay. I would second that, but Tim, these were discussed in the executive meeting, right? I'm completely in favor of it, but since I wasn't there due to a family emergency, I'll see if you wouldn't second that. I'm going to abstain
Okay,
from it.
that's fine. I'll second it.
And I think they're both great candidates, but I was unable to attend that meeting due to a family emergency.
Second.
So, okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Oh, no, never mind. I abstain. I forgot what I was going to do there.
But
for a
you
second.
do support our
I
decision?
support
Okay.
Joni and Mike. I know them
Okay.
both well. But like I said, there was an executive meeting. I had a family emergency, and I just don't feel right because you guys had that discussion about their credentials and stuff.
Understood.
What other ones did we address?
It was 911.
Well, the E911, we're looking at an ordinance change there before we actually make any changes to that. And to date, John hasn't been able to, or hasn't
Okay.
provided that ordinance yet.
Okay.
So hopefully maybe next meeting we'll have a new
Okay.
ordinance to be able to restructure that.
Okay. We done with this?
Innkeepers board, I
Yeah.
don't know, I don't
Let's
have
leave
any.
it set.
Okay.
We still have to have that one meeting, Kylie, don't we, with the innkeepers board in that situation? If you want to put that down someplace and keep it track of it. Okay, we're moving on. Announcements. John, you got an announcement this morning?
Do I have an announcement?
Yeah. Come on. Annex, how's the Annex doing?
It's,
Come on up here. You gotta be the star of the show.
this is where I get grilled.
Update on the Annex.
We're having issues, I'm having issues with keeping the contractors in place.
Okay.
It seems like all of them. And I'm not quite sure how to take care of that.
I done told you, let me know, I'll come and help you.
Well,
So, the deadline, you think we can still meet the deadline that you said?
no,
Okay.
no.
So we have to figure out a way we quit moving the deadline, right?
Yeah, we gotta quit moving the deadline.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm here to help, so.
well,
But where are we at? How far along are we and what?
the drywall is almost finished on the soil side.
Okay.
It's still,
I came by the other day, it looked really good. The finish work they did really looked good in there.
yeah, they do good work.
Yeah.
My issue with them is they'll do good work for about 4 days and then they're gone for about 3 days. And then they'll come back and then they'll be gone. And then they'll be gone and come
Well-
back and they'll be gone.
Okay,
Same thing with the electricians.
okay. Well, so the deadline that we set for February the 15th or March the 15th, what one was it?
It was March 1st is when my original plan was, and I'm still trying to get there, but
But I mean, what's left to do? You still got the coverings to do on the floor, right?
yeah.
Then you got painting to
Terry
do.
Gillis is doing the floor coverings and he's been in several times wanting, he's ready to
Good.
go anytime. He's
Good.
got materials and the floor covering will take about 4 days when we get
Okay.
there.
Got someone to paint?
Yeah, I've got a painter. He's painted. He's primed 3 rooms in there. That's all the drywallers had done.
Okay.
So he's primed. I told him he had to get to me or to the auditor a copy of his liability insurance and a W-9, and he did send me the W-9, but the piece of paper he sent me for the insurance wasn't correct.
Okay.
So he should get that. He was hoping to get it before this meeting, but he didn't make it.
So really what, the heating and cooling is all done, right? Tell us what is done.
Heating and cooling's done.
Okay.
Done and working very well.
Okay.
The only issue I had with the heating contractor was they were sloppy,
Yeah.
and they put a lot of holes in the ceiling. But
But they did you a good job.
the heating works good, it's installed well, and our heating-
How are they on the electrical? How much more electrical you got? What percentage?
I would say he's maybe 60%,
Okay. And what about your drywall? 80?
85.
Okay. And the other people, the paint and the carpet, you already got that lined up. They're ready to come
Paint,
once.
carpet are lined up and ready to go. The
So
only
you get-
other thing that's left would be trim carpentry, and the drywall contractor was supposed to get me a price, but I'm not real happy with him. I got another guy give me a price.
Okay.
So.
Okay. They have the clients come and visit and gave their input on the soil and the Defender board. Have they been in and see you and looked at the situation?
Yes, they're pleased with what they see.
Okay.
Both soil and public defenders are both pleased with what they see.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
they'll be very happy with the final product.
So March 1st is not it?
I'm still trying.
Okay.
I'm still trying.
I'll take you out to eat when you get it done, okay? Have a celebration.
I also have a suspended ceiling contractor.
Have what?
Suspended ceiling contractor
Okay.
lined up.
Okay.
So-
Very good.
Good deal.
You guys got any questions for him?
No, I'll wait till the project's done, John. I appreciate all you've been doing.
Yeah.
How'd you come out about your situation up your, you have a fire up there or something?
Yeah, my garage burnt down. I lost all my winemaking equipment.
Oh, your what?
Winemaking equipment.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And we hate to hear that. Hate to hear that.
Yeah. So, and it's been 2 weeks now, and we still haven't heard anything from the insurance. So.
Wish you the best. Keep us posted.
Yep.
Thanks.
Thanks for
Sorry
coming.
about that. Didn't
County
know that.
festivals and events, county bicentennial, I think Britton's got an update on that they're having an event down at the boot camp.
Yeah, seen that.
You still don't want to do this year-long thing I want to do, right?
Do what?
A year-long celebration.
Well, no.
Right now, we have one from the reading center there at was Hillsdale, I think it was, the old Hillsdale Community Center. Anyway, they're having, the reading center there is having the birthday party on February 3rd from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. And there's going to be food, music, and prizes. And they've been working on it along with some of the people, the kids there, and so they're really enthusiastic about it. They've been planning this for a couple of months, it seems, anyway, at least a couple of months since it was announced last year. And so they've got a date and plan on attending. So thank you.
Another thing that we probably ought to put on the agenda for next meeting is the disbursement of the ARP money. We need to deal with that. The council approved $50,000, I think, for us to give out.
Okay.
50,000.
So next meeting, you need to be looking over all those people, all those applications, and figure out how you're going to spend that $50,000.
So
That's
all
my
this-
understanding. Does that
Okay.
sound right, Tyler?
50,000.
They said if we need more, we can come back for more. So the first thing, as far as in our control, is the $50,000.
Okay.
Okay. For the people that applied for the.
Yeah.
Okay.
You want to set an executive session so you guys can review
I don't know
it?
if that qualifies as an executive session, for that. You might ask John, I don't think that qualifies as an
But anyway,
executive
some people are
session.
asking, and we need to move on it. You all agree with that?
I agree.
Sure,
Okay.
but I don't think it's, we'll have to check
You
with
wanna
him.
do a work
What
session?
else?
It can be a work session, sure, but it has to be open to public, it can't be
Okay.
unless it can be executive, I don't think it
Okay.
falls in that category. though.
I'm still waiting on to hear from DNR. I haven't heard back from. I think the guy might be
Why
on
don't you make a
vacation.
comment about that?
We submitted the name to DNR, to Luke Rains. He's the gentleman that's kind of overseeing the whole project, and he said he would submit that to his superiors for review. He says if they decide to not go with it, they will still include us in the decision that they make to name it, but they like to include the county
In
on
other
first.
words, they'll let us know what
They'll
the name
they'll let
is.
us know what the name is, but they like to include the county on first option on recommendations. So, and I haven't heard back from him, so I'm going to call him today and email him again. But sometimes you don't hear from him for a little while, and then you'll get 2 or 3 emails from DNR. So,
Sure.
So, no update right now anyway.
I expect they have to have a commission meeting to do something like that anyway.
Probably.
If nothing else, we can put it on county right away there, our name.
Put ours before you get to it.
Start naming roads after us, so.
Yeah.
No, just kidding. Public comment, anybody else before we close this meeting? Here's your last chance to comment. Thank you.
We
for
didn't make
putting
it
up
in the
with
1 hour, I know that.
Anybody? You guys?
No, we don't make public comment, that's for public.
Why don't we go to the
I motion to adjourn.
Second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Adjourn.
Kylie, what do you got for me so I can get to lunch hour real